Hello, you're watching Proactive. I'm joined by Digby founder and CEO Jamie Strauss, as well as Richard Williams, the executive chairman of Bunker Hill Mining. Jamie, Richard, very good to speak with you. And Richard, I'm going to start with you. To what extent has the third Digby assessment helped Bunker Hill Mining, both strategically and with regard to the engagement with different stakeholders?
Thank you. Upfront, it helps a small company, any small company, sharpen its procedures. ESG is vital to all mining companies' existence and success. And for a small company like ours, starting a few years ago with limited resources, to bring in a team like Digby that helps us sharpen up our act and look over time as to how we can develop within pace of our resources and within pace of our program has been invaluable. And this is the third of our Digby assessments. And we've seen our progress on site in terms of our procedures, drills, approach, ethos evolve well. But really importantly, we've seen this be paid attention to, and by that which is also essential to mining companies, which is the capital markets. Without money, you can't build a mine. And money is very discerning these days, and it demands very high ESG standards. So bringing in a group like Digby that is well networked into those capital markets and is well networked across the industry, providing sensible, progressive advice to a company like ours has been essential.
Richard, following on from this assessment, what goals have you set for the next 12 months, and how do you see these adding value from the perspective of investors, communities, and other stakeholders?
Well, thank you. The next 12 months, and shorter than that, in fact, is really critical for our company in that we're taking this distressed asset, formerly distressed asset, from development stage into production. And as with all mining companies that go through that transition, it's a proof of your thesis, primarily driven by your ability to mine profitably, but underpinned, and you can't mine profitably if you aren't mining safely and with consideration for the environment and with the local community and all the laws, regulations, and expectations of the land within which you're operating it. So the next 12 months for us are absolutely critical. It's a critical test for us as a team. It's a critical test for all stakeholders involved in the project, be they financial, be they community, be they regulatory or elsewhere, to see whether what we believe is possible is indeed possible. So it's exceedingly exciting. So how will Digby help us with this? Well, this third report, I'm the executive chairman of the board, has focused on a number of things. But one of which that's particularly interesting to us is the interface between project and markets, otherwise known as governance, is we're going to be establishing at a board level, and it's the right time to do this, an ESG Sustainability or Impact Committee. We haven't quite decided on the title of that, which will be allowing us as a board, using our very unique oversight systems, which I can talk to better develop the interaction between what's happening on the ground, what we need to happen at a strategic sense, and how we communicate that to the market. So that's one area. The second is through that vehicle, but also taking direct advice from Digby and others. There's a series of procedures, approaches, and outlooks to action, as well as to communication that we're going to be rolling out. And our team will be expanding from the 10s or 20s that we have now in terms of full-time employees to 250 full-time employees when we're up and running within the next 12 months. As I said, shorter than that. And the impact that that's going to have on the community, a community that has actually been impoverished since the mines all shut in the area in the 1980s, is going to be enormous. And we've got to be thinking very carefully about how that potential boom to the community is managed alongside with ensuring that any stakeholders that are around the site that are worried about the reintroduction of mining are reassured by what we're doing and see with full transparency precisely what we're doing, how we're controlling risks, and how this is as low an impact a mining operation as it can be from a negative sense, but maximum impact from a positive sense.
Jamie, the landscape of sustainability continues to evolve rapidly. How do you see companies such as Bunker Hill Mining differentiating themselves, taking advantage of their efforts to improve transparency and set out a journey of continuous improvement?
Yeah, thanks, Stephen. I mean, I'm in the middle of a roadshow at the moment with institutions. Can't build a mine without finance. It's a capital-intensive industry, and it's relatively long term. And what I'm finding really interesting is the evolution of the way fund managers have come over the last 3 or 4 years, despite maybe some of the negative comments around sustainability or particularly ESG. You're actually now seeing data coming out that 80% of professional fund managers globally have incorporated sustainability in their investment mandates. And it's not so much that's a major move forward. It's then how do we actually use that to value add? How do we use that to make sure that we can identify those companies that are embracing it and therefore can get a benefit with the supply chain, ultimately in time, and mitigate risk? And what I'm seeing with companies that I've been seeing this week and last week is there is actual determination to incorporate sustainability as part of their decision-making process and investment. And that comes particularly at the production and the development stage. Now, that's a really interesting move because I think it's been a little bit wishy-washy over the last few years as to where does sustainability fit as a decision-making process. But in a way, it should not be a surprise. It shouldn't be a surprise because sustainability is at the heart, as Richard said, of everything a company does. Everything it does, from the governance to the footprint to the engagement with its local stakeholders or the supply chain or whatever. And therefore, if we can consolidate this, put it in a transparent and credible third-party process, then we can raise confidence and trust throughout that stakeholder group, including institutional investors, to bring money back into this industry.
Gents, thank you both very much for your insights today. Thanks for speaking with us. Digby founder and CEO Jamie Strauss, Bunker Hill Mining Executive Chairman Richard Williams.
Thanks very much, Stephen.
Thank you very much.